My name is Ashiana, and I live on Madison Street, Born. Respectfully, I'd like to ask you if you could please be specific with the answer to my question. And my question, which has been a lot of people here in the audience has asked this, is about people putting their trash 1, 2, 3 in the morning. They'll drive up, put it in front of our house. The audience, the man that comes around to check, he's going to put a little note on it, push it back toward the house. If you could be specific in telling me how you can correct that. I have a 3-family house. We're all complying. We've got the bins. We're going to buy the bags. Hopefully they'll go down. But how are you going to stop? How are you, of the city, going to find out who's putting their trash there? And why should each homeowner, all the residents, the tenants, have to be fined? How can you control that?
Yeah. Okay, I understand your question. Well, you shouldn't assume that they're fined. You know,
If
we know who to fine, we will fine. The point is that compliance is going to have to work on a couple of different levels. There may be some attempts to do illegal dumping. That's one aspect of it. There may be a lot of what you described. Just some neighbor in the vicinity deciding not to comply with the program at any level whatsoever, takes their trash down the street someday and drops it at your house, maybe your neighbor's the next week. That is a little bit more difficult problem to have oversight on, but I can't be specific about every situation, but the one you described to me, what would be done? We would, if we thought the trash came from the residents, all external information told the officers who were looking at it that in fact it emanated from the residential area that it was near. The attempt to probably, as we do now, knock on the, put a rejection sticker on it. Not a fine, but just a notice that it's rejected. If that doesn't alert an owner or a resident that in fact they're in non-compliance because it's not theirs, person will go back. It will be tagged for a violation. Nobody is individually noticed at this time for a violation, but a sticker is put on it. And then at that point, they'll make an attempt, they'll knock on the door, try to find out is this just an oversight on your part? Or are you aware that somebody in fact has dropped it off? Can you help us with the information if you claim it's not yours? So there's that level of attempt to try to find out who's involved. Eventually it'll be removed from the curb. But by us, as we do now, it'll be taken one at a time. I'm answering her question. You have a question, ask her when you get up there. Okay. So that in the hypothetical that you have given me, that is typically what would happen. We would take the trash away, try to determine if we can find out who the offender is by the contents in the bag. And if we can't, and if we cannot, then you won't be fined, your tenant won't be fined. But there'll be every effort made to try out find out who the offender is before a fine is issued. But that's the level of compliance that will be attempted.
Respectfully, I'd like to ask you a question that, as you just explained, that you would have somebody come over.
Yeah.
Let us just say it's today and it happened to me, and there's a sticker on it, and the bag stays there. And then how long is that going to stay there? Another week?
No, it will stay to the end of the pickup day, or we'll get to it at some point. Again, it depends upon how much of that kind of activity there is on the route of that day. But there'll be an attempt to, again, go to the door. Is it an oversight on your part? Is it your trash? Is it an oversight that you haven't complied, et cetera, et cetera? And then if it's in the judgment of the investigator that it can't be traced back to the residence that it may be in front of, it'll be taken away, and we'll make every attempt to try to find out through the contents who the offender might have been. So if it shows up every week that there are no compliant trash bags, there's no activity that gives us some kind of visible evidence there's an attempt to comply with the program, then there'd probably be an attempt to put the burden a little bit more on the occupant of the residence that it may be in front of.
I must have misunderstood you because I thought you first said that there was going to be a sticker put on it, and then if it stayed there, a violation would be put on it.
Yes.
So that means that, how long is the trash going to, again, I'm going to be done to say how long is it
And all as we do now, as we do now with unacceptable trash. That's the process that happens. The effort is to remove it at the end of the day. Deal with the offender afterwards. Remove the trash on the day of pickup, so that we're not leaving it on the sidewalk. That'll be the same thing that'll happen. All trash will be removed. We'll do our best to find out who the offenders are and try to enforce compliance.
Thank you.
Okay.
My name is Barbara Ford Joni. I live on Folsom Court. I have 4 issues. One, a lot of houses here in Malden are 2- and 3-family houses. Not everyone throws out the same amount of trash each week. But we all share common barrels. So some people are going to use up a whole trash bag in 2 days, and others will have only like half a trash bag. How will there be equal payment? How do we decide who's going to pay for the trash bags without causing friction between the different tenants? Because we don't all have fortunes.
Well, everybody, you buy bags for what you produce, as far as the trash goes. If you don't produce very much, I think Mr. Petrillo mentioned, could we buy a smaller bag for a lesser price? That is something that we'll take under consideration, but the idea is you only pay for what it is you put on the curb.
Yeah, but we all keep them in the backyard. So how do it?
Well, when you put it down in trash, you know.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, what's to stop one tenant from putting their trash in another tenant's bag because one tenant uses too much, the other tenant uses too much?
Well, that'll be an issue. Once it's on the curb, it's our issue. That's an issue between the tenant and the landlord. How, they store the trash and what receptacles they're put in. That's not our responsibility.
Yeah, but the landlord doesn't live in the building. Okay, the second one is, in the 7 years I've lived where I live, we've had one recycle bin disappear and another one crack. And I've called the DPW yard, and the few times I've called, they said they never had them, to call back in a couple of months that they would have them. I called back and they still didn't have them.
You want one now?
Yeah, because...
We have it now.
Well, now the thing is, we don't have a car, and I'm sure as,
Where is your address?
It's 14 Folsom Court.
Okay, we'll have one delivered.
Okay, and then another question is, we have...
What do you You talk to that gentleman right over there. You need to pick it up and we'll drop it in. Yes.
If you have just a regular large, if somebody has a regular large plastic bin, do they need a sticker to put on it for it to be?
Well, that'll be helpful. We are, as part of the program, we have the stickers around here somewhere. We are going to hand out stickers that'll indicate that a receptacle, rubber-made barrel, anything else can be used as a recycling barrel rather than Yes.
And as far as recycling goes, so people that don't have cars, how do they get their TVs or their batteries to the
There's certain things we don't pick up without a sticker. Television, you have to hold on to it 4 days annually, so once every quarter. The DPW department runs a recycling day for things like battery for televisions.
But do they pick up? Because the thing is, if people don't have a car, how are they going to bring their TV or a computer or whatever to the...
Well, that is a problem.
And, okay.
There's a question inside the room.